What's going on, guys? I'm Man, and you know how people say this is the best channel for gaming or the best GTA 5 videos on you, whatever. This is the best review for this movie on this website. I'm saying that because I can. I waited a long time to make this video. That's not true. I actually made the video the night that I saw it, which was Thursday night, but it was issues with it going online. So this is kind of worked out because I have formulated thoughts and different opinions since I saw it. So first of all, we're going to start with the non-spoiler point of things. I really enjoyed the personality of the characters and movie. I'll elaborate. So the personality of Peter Parker. Number one, Peter Parker came off as a person, which was very cool. And it was something that I noticed. In the previous movies, I felt like Andrew Garfield was playing a type. He was playing, I am an outcast, but I'm kind of cool, but I'm an outcast, you know. And then Tobey Maguire kind of played this quiet, goody tissues nerd, you know, like, oh, you know, I don't have the money for my rent, but I'm gonna get it, and oh, I'm sorry. I mean, you know, and it played this stereotype, but Tom Holland plays a kid, and that's very noticeable. Like it's something I've never thought of until I saw it. It was like, yo, wait a minute. This is a kid. Like, this is an actual kid. And that was cool. I really dug that. When it came to Aunt May was a parent. She wasn't an old woman. And even in the comics, Aunt May was old, but she was a parent. And it is much more, it feels like she is a parent in this movie. And The Amazing Spider-Man 2 kind of did that, but I feel like it's very strong in this movie. Maybe it has to do with her age. I don't know. There's a youthfulness to her that is interesting. And so it may have to do with her age. I don't know. But she reminded me of my mom, which was hilarious. Like, it was one part in the movie where there was this thing happening. And up to that point, I was already going, yo, she's kind of reminding me of my mother. But it was this point in this movie where something could have been said. It was like she was going down this path. And I was like, oh my God, is she about to say what I think she's about to say? Because it reminds me of my mom. And my mother would go there, but she didn't. And I'll talk about that in the spoiler part of this video. When it came to Ned, Ned was a kid. Now, Ned was kind of more of a type. He was kind of more of a stereotype, but he wasn't a stereotype like in the other Spider-Man movies. You got the rich kids, you got the nerd, you know. Peter Parker and Ned both were kids that liked what they liked and disliked what they disliked and had their own hobbies, even though we didn't really get into hobbies that much, but we did touch on the fact that, you know, he likes to build Legos, he likes to build things, he's creative in that sense. You know, he likes technology, he's a technology guy. He and Peter both are. We understood that. And in that regard, they were like people, which was cool because that's something that I felt like, and I didn't even understand until I saw it, something that was missing from the previous movies, that these are not characters, these are people that have their own interests and dislikes. That was something that was very apparent in watching this movie that hadn't been there before. Which was weird, you know? But you don't notice what you don't have until it's gone, you know? Liz, she took the backseat, you know? Her as a love interest, the love interest took a backseat. Did her and Peter even, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that in the non-spoiler section. But, you know, she took a backseat, which was interesting. And I'll get into that more in the spoiler. We'll get into spoilers in a minute. But it was like she was a type, but she was not a person that wasn't realistic. And I'll talk about that more in the spoilers. Everybody else was kind of types. Like the people on the team that you don't even know their names. They're there. And they have little things to say like Flash. He's a type. He's a bully. And that's how he is. And things like that, you know. But the people that really are people are Peter Parker and Ned Leeds, Aunt May, and the villain, who I didn't even get to talk about, the Vulture. The Vulture is a person in the sense that he has his things that he stands for, and that is reinforced throughout the entire film. There's this foundation to his character, this thing that he stands on that does not weaken, which is really cool. But you know, people want to say that he's relatable and empathetic. And oh my God, you know, I relate with the Vulture, and sometimes I'm rooting for him. And no, come on, no. They make him a person, but there is a point, there is a line in which a person goes, maybe that is too much. Maybe I did go too far. Maybe that is bad. You know, he's bad. You know, he's bad. Regardless of however they want to make it, you know, he's bad. He's not a guy going. He's not a guy doing things for his family and that's it. He is a guy who has been wronged and becomes bad because of it. It's not like he doesn't want to do what he's doing. He's doing it. He's Walter White in that sense. But with Walter White, we saw that progression. In this, it was a movie, so they couldn't really add that much into it. But you know, he's bad. Okay, he's bad. I'll get into that in the spoilers in a bit. And overall, I really dug the movie, though. I really dug the movie. There were some parts that didn't make sense, like, for example, the ending, the character progression of the character of Peter Parker, Spider-Man, that did not make sense to me, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But after that, regardless of that, the movie was good. It was good. Now, spoilers. We spoiling everything. Number one, the part that I'm talking about with the Aunt May, it was when she was taking him to prom. She was dropping Peter off at homecoming, not prom. Homecoming. Dropping Peter off at the homecoming dance. Or dropping him off at Liz's house. And she's talking, and I was like, is she about to mention sex? Like, don't have sex. My mom would have did it, but they're 15, so maybe not. I don't know. Next. Peter Parker, his progression, his arc, right? So in the movie, we see that he wants to impress Tony Stark. That is what he wants to do. He wants to impress Tony. He likes Tony. He looks up to Tony. He wants to be an Avenger, blah, 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 blah. Then he goes after the Vulture. Tony gets upset. He tells Happy Hogan about what's going on. Tony sends the FBI in. He goes after the Vulture again. Tony gets upset and shows up and takes the suit. Then at the end of the movie, Peter goes after the Vulture, takes him down, and Tony is all right with that. Number one, wait a minute, hold on, flag on the play. Tony, you're upset? You are a hypocrite because you're acting like you didn't just create a robot that wanted to destroy all humans. Haha, said like a game. You know the game? You don't. Want to destroy all humans. You act like you didn't do that. Yeah, okay, right. Now that's probably a part of his character. That's a character flaw. You know, it's supposed to be a hypocritical thing. You're acting like you didn't do a whole bunch of stuff like Iron Man 1 didn't happen, like you didn't sell weapons to people. That's fine. That's a character. You're that character. You're that butthole. I don't like you. You already know that if you watch my channel. You know I don't like Tony Stark. You know it. But so that's just me not liking Tony Stark, and that's a part of his character. That's on purpose. Now, wait a minute. Why all of a sudden at the end are you like, oh, you did a good job, Peter. You did a good job. We want you to live here. You're gonna live here, right? You're a student. You're gonna live here. You're gonna drop out of school. Forget your aunt. Forget your friends. You're gonna live here. I got you this new suit. New suit. You're gonna put this on. We're gonna have this press conference, letting the world know you are Spider-Man. Letting the world know who Spider-Man is. Not necessarily saying who Spider-Man's secret identity is, but letting the world know that Spider-Man is a new Avenger. With the Sokovia Accords, though, you are Peter Parker. More than likely, that's the thought. But why? How are you gonna have this kid drop out of school and do that? That makes no sense. How? That makes no sense at all. That makes no. You cannot have this kid drop out of school to be a superhero. And you as Tony Stark should know that. Peter Parker, right? Peter Parker, the whole movie is trying to prove himself to Tony. Trying to be an Avenger. He gets trapped under the rubble. And he gets the thought that he remembers Tony Stark saying, if you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve it. Right? So then he musters up the strength to push himself out of the rubble and go after the Vulture and take down the Vulture. Now, his reason for taking down the Vulture was because, you know, he has the power. It's his responsibility, right? That makes sense. The entire movie, the thought process is, I want to be an Avenger. I want to prove myself to Tony. This. But at the end of the movie, there is this shift of, no, I don't want to be an Avenger anymore. I'd just rather remain on the ground. Now, us as fans of the character understand that. We understand that Peter Parker Spider-Man is a person who will help out with life, with world-ending things, but he's solo. He's a solo guy. We get that. As it pertains to this movie, something was missing. He literally spent the entire movie trying to impress Tony Stark. Then at the end, shifts and changes his mind. Why? Now, it was already hinted, right? It was hinted that Tony Stark is kind of a douche, and Peter maybe is seeing this. Maybe. It was hinted. Maybe is seeing this. They didn't go all the way with Peter Parker, you know, saying, you're kind of a jackass. You know, in the comics, they do that. Peter goes, he figures out and says, Tony, you're kind of a jerk, you know. They didn't go there because they got to be, you know, I don't know why. Probably for later down the road. They hinted at the storyline from the comics when Peter rejects Tony and Tony gets pissed and they fight. And I thought they were going to perhaps end the movie with Tony being a little salty. And he was a bit salty, but, you know, he got over it. And he probably still is salty because he, you know, is egotistical. And maybe further down the line, it's going to come into play like, well, you know, you rejected my offer when Peter's probably like 2 years older. You rejected my offer with da-da-da-da. And then Peter's like, that was 2 years ago, man. Like, and so maybe it'll come back. I don't know. But I kind of wish they went more with it. And I kind of wish that there was some explanation within the movie, not with us assuming, but within the movie, of us figuring out why Peter decided and understood that he didn't have to prove himself. That he is adequate and he is doing this for himself because he has the power. I wish that was in the movie because it's missing. He just decides, well, you know, why don't I just remain on the ground? But why? There is no build up to that. Why that drastic character shift? Why that? When we don't see it. We don't see that progression. We're going in a straight line, then all of a sudden it just turns. It should be gradual. We should see him begin to realize that Tony doesn't really care about, like he doesn't care, you know. I'm doing this for him. Why? I should be doing this for the greater good. Like, I should be doing this because with great power comes great responsibility. I don't need to do this for Stark. Like, that should be within the movie. That should be articulated. That should be something that we see happen. That realization should happen within Peter. But we don't get that realization until he's given the opportunity. And it's just all of a sudden, no, I don't want to do it. But there should be a build to that. We should see that build. It doesn't have to be verbally said, but we should see that build. Peter began to realize that he doesn't need to do this for Stark. That Stark doesn't really care. And then at the end, when he's offered everything, it's like, why? Because I took down the Vulture? You didn't even want me to take down the Vulture. You told me to stay out of it. And now you're happy because I did? Like, that should be articulated in the film. And that was not. So the shift within the character of Peter Parker, it was forced in a way. It was forced. It was what what the character should do as it pertains to Spider-Man, who Spider-Man is. That's what Spider-Man would do. That's Spider-Man. That's what Spider-Man does do in the comics. That's what we as fans expect Spider-Man to do. We as audience members expect Spider-Man to do. But just because that expectation is there, you can't just do it without building up to it. You can't just like, oh, they'll get it. It's because he's Spider-Man. But what about the character in the film? What about the story? That needs to be present. There needs to be that build for that character. If this was not Spider-Man, and if this was some character, Jesse Pinkman. This was Jesse Pinkman. This was not the character of Spider-Man that everybody knows. It would be literally, wait, why? Wait, you haven't said anything about not needing to do this for Stark the entire movie. You've actually said the opposite. So then why are you doing this? Why? You guys get what I'm saying? So that was the issue that I had with the film. It just did not make sense for Peter to shift like that. Michelle as Mary Jane, MJ, Michelle Jones, whatever. People are very... Some people don't care. Some people do care. I noticed a lot of people that do care are fans, hardcore fans. My position is that, number one, I think that characters whose race is tied to who they are should not be changed. When it comes to the character of Mary Jane, she is known for having red hair. She's a redhead. That is what she is known as. She was drawn as a white woman with red hair. I don't know of any African Americans who have natural ginger red hair. I know of red hair, but not like ginger, like the way Mary Jane is portrayed. With that being said, is her race and her hair tied to who she is as a character? Her hair is, yeah. I think her hair is definitely tied to who she is as a character. And that if her hair is not red, then she's not Mary Jane. You've changed who the character is. With that being said, if you give her red hair and she's not white, is she still Mary Jane? Well, her name is Michelle. Her last name is Jones, I think. Michelle Jones, MJ. And they did that on purpose, so people understand. And I know that it's very touchy. This is a very touchy subject because you got people on one side who are looking at me like, what are you about to say? You're black. So if you're okay with it, then it's because you're black. And what if we turn Blade white? You know? And I'll make a separate video really delving into it, but I'll touch on it a little bit. Because the character's race is not tied to who she is, it's okay. But a trait of the character is tied to the race. Now, this trait is not exclusive with this race, but this trait is tied to the race. In my opinion, I think that if I was in charge of the Spider-Man reboot or whatever, I would not have immediately said, let's make Mary Jane black. However, do I have a problem with it? No. And I don't have a problem with it because of the character being much more than her appearance. Like, as it pertains to a lot of black characters, their appearance is tied to who they are. And that's because in society, race is tied to who you are unless you're white. And a lot of people don't like me talking about that or don't like hearing that. But me as a black man, my life is a lot different than somebody that's white just because I'm black. And people don't like hearing that. This will be a whole nother video. But for that reason, I think that with her being black, it changes the character because of her being black. But the character is much more than a white red-headed woman. And if the character is much more than a white red-headed woman, and people are upset at the fact that she is not a white red-headed woman, then there's perhaps a different issue that we need to talk about. So, if you make MJ black, yes, that changes the character. Am I a fan of changing the character? No. But Mary Jane is much more than a white, red-headed woman. And if all of the other traits that the character has are intact, except for her skin color, because you can dye the girl's hair red, except for her skin color, then I don't think it's that big of a deal. And if it is a big deal to people, perhaps we need to have another conversation. But I'm going to talk about that in a different video. So, in summation, I thought the movie was really good. I thought it was the best Spider-Man movie that we've had. Yes, better than Spider-Man 2. I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man 2. I'm not a big fan of any of the Spider-Man movies because I am a fan of the story, right? And I feel like the best incarnation that we've had, the best form of Spider-Man storytelling that we've had was Spectacular Spider-Man. And this movie kind of reminds me of that, which is great. So I like bits and pieces from all the Spider-Man movies, but, you know, I feel like they don't really tell the story right. But this movie is the best form that has told the story in movie form. And I was really excited about that. And really, really cool. It was really cool. Something else, the Vulture, right? Talking about the Vulture being evil. The Vulture is evil. His daughter almost died. She almost died. And look, I understand that you saved my daughter, and I respect that. That's family. And because of that, I'm not going to kill you. But if you mess with my business, I will kill you and everybody that you love. My guy, your daughter almost died. Now, it can be debated whether or not he knows that he is one of the reasons as to why that happened. You know, I have to see the movie again. I don't remember if he knew that that piece was left. I think he did actually know that that piece was left, but I don't know if he knows that that piece was what made the elevator almost break. But my guy, I'm going to assume you did know. Maybe you didn't, because if you did, maybe you would have went after it. Maybe you would have asked him, where's the piece? But your daughter almost died. That's it. You should have been like, okay, everything that I'm doing is for no reason. I'm causing harm, more harm than good, because my daughter almost died. You're telling me I'm supposed to empathize with this man that shot another guy, disintegrated him, and then made a joke about it afterward. I thought this was the anti-gravity gun. Oh, whatever. He's dead. Somebody get a dustpan and a broom and sweep up his ashes. My guy, that is an evil man. He's not, I don't empathize with evil people. But when I talk about the foundation, he has this foundation of respect, right? Of family, you know. At the end of the movie, he beats Spider-Man, but Spider-Man saves him. And then Vulture's like, dang, I can't go nowhere now. And lays down, like, whatever. But he has this thing of respect in the sense that he does not rat out Peter at the end. Matt Gargan asked, the Scorpion asked, I heard you know who he is. Because me and a few guys, we talk about that in another video. You know, we trying to do. Vulture said, if I already knew, he'd be dead. He'd be dead. So, that's something to think about. You know, Vulture has this code, which may come into play later on. Which is cool. I really dig that. I really dig that. And Matt Gargan, Scorpion. Look at that. We got Scorpion. We got Scorpion in there. Shocker's in this universe. And Shocker got away. He got the heck on. I thought Bokeem Woodbine was going to be stupid. I'm like, oh, they made the black one dumb. But he wasn't that dumb after. Like, I was like, oh, he not dumb. He like, I'm out. I'm out. Like, you know, but he came back. But still, you know, he was like, I'm out at one point. So that was cool. That was cool. Even though other Shocker did it. But he was killed for it. But whatever. I'm really interested in the universe that they're building, the world that they're building with these characters, and yeah, and the Venom stuff. You know, people don't think it's in the MCU, and I don't think it's in the MCU, but I think it is in the homes to the Spider-Man universe, the Spider-Man world, which is interesting, and yeah. So, that's what I have to say about the movie, I think. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting? I touched on everything, didn't I? Right? The different characters. The Aaron... There it is. Miles Morales, his uncle Aaron, was in the movie a little bit. And I keep forgetting that Donald Glover is 33 years old. Because he doesn't look like it. He looked like a young guy, which is cool. I don't know what was wrong with his eye. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you high? Whatever, man. He probably was high. I don't know. But I think that means, you know, Miles Morales will show up at some point. I'll be in the movies at some point, you know, calling it now. Yeah, you know, I'll be in there soon. And I think that they're going to, when they introduce Miles Morales, he'll be older, which is cool. Yeah, because I don't think they're going to go down that same story of this is a black kid in high school now, you know. Well, not same story, to be a kid in high school, but now he's black. Oh, pay money to see it again. I don't think they're going to go down that route. And I don't think they're going to kill Spider-Man, Peter Parker. No, I don't think they'll do that. I think they're going to literally have Peter Parker take the place of Tony Stark. But that's another video. I think now I'm done. I think I'm done. Stark Industries was sold, or that building was sold. I wonder to who. And Peter Parker did not go outside of Queens. He didn't swing in Manhattan, which is cool. And I think it's for a reason. Another thing that was interesting was the fact that this was an origin story without them retreading the same ground. It was fresh. It was new. When he had that fear of heights, when he got to that you know, the top of that thing, you know, he's like, whoa, this is high. That was so cool and real. I was like, oh my God, what? I've never thought about that. Like, Andrew Garfield jumped off of a building, fell off of a building, swung, was fine. Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, tally-ho, just went. Like, who in their right mind would do that? You don't know if you don't know that you got these unbreakable knees and ankles. You don't know that. You don't. But whatever. That was so cool. I really dug that. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the movie. I'm going to see it again. More videos coming. My computer right now is dead, which is so I got to get that fixed. But I'm happy that I had some time to process and really think before I put this up. It's a lot of content in this video, so make sure you hit that like button if you like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Let's have a conversation in the comment section below. Anything I said that you dislike or that you do like, you do agree with. The MJ thing. Let's have a conversation. I want to have a genuine conversation. It ain't no bashing in my comment section. Ain't no you're wrong, you know, like that. Other people do it, but I don't. I love to read all the comments. I love to hear other people's opinions. And I just ask that everybody keeps it respectful, you know. Don't call me no stupid black man that just cares about MJ because she's black now, okay? Because then I'm going to say you're just mad because the character is now black, all right? And I have another video all about the black thing, the race. Even though I've done it before, I'm going to do it again. It's going to be more updated and it's going to be older me. So, yeah. I thank you all for watching. I've been just meaning to tell you, hit the like button, subscribe if you know. All of my social networks are down in the description below. And peace. Have a good one. Peace. This is what we call a direct upload because I can't edit anything. Peace!